All right, good people. This is what I want to talk about today. Like this Wilshire uh, Baptist Church. Uh, these people, so to speak, are supposedly uh, talking about their uh, one of the pastor George Mason supposedly wants to deal with racism. He wants to deal with white supremacy. Talking about white Christians need to supposed so-called white Christians need to stand up against white supremacy. Uh, uh, uh. So I just want to point out a couple things here, so that people can see and understand what is really happening here with this Wilshire Baptist Church. Now, in 2000, this church is known as supposedly progressive, ordaining women and that sort of thing. But in 2017, what this article shows is that Wilshire Baptist Church did a vote on whether or not they should allow LGBTQ homosexuals and lesbians and transgender people whether they should be ordained and married in the church at this Wilshire Baptist Church. So essentially, when you look through this article, essentially what you find is that this situation just completely like destroyed the church. So right here, it pretty much said that 250 members left the church, and they took $700,000 worth of annual tithes and offerings. So essentially, the pastor, this George Mason, said that it was the biggest misjudgment of his ministry, meaning that he regretted, he pretty much said, I assume that if we follow deliberate process, blah, 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 he said he didn't think that they would have a major loss of membership or financial contribution. And he said he was wrong. So essentially, and this happened in November 2017. So this just happened about 10 months ago. So this church supposedly is progressive and all that stuff, but they're on the ropes. They just lost almost a million members. I mean, $1 million worth of tithes and offerings from 250 members that left. Pretty much because they supported LGBTQ issues. This report says nothing about white supremacy, trying to end racism. This says nothing about, criminal justice reform or police brutality or none of that stuff. This just talks about LGBTQ. Now, one of the things that this report does say as well is that it says that the people that left their church were older, wealthier, and more conservative. Now this points out more conservative. So this points to a very interesting point that this supposed church, progressive church, supposedly, is supposed to be progressive. They're talking about this pastor is supposed to be coming against white supremacy and standing up for Botham Jean and his murder execution. It says more conservative. So essentially, this statement right here lets you know that this congregation is a conservative white evangelical congregation. They are normal evangelical conservative congregation. They the same. Most of them probably voted for Trump. This is the same. Most of them probably voted for Trump. You know, there's no there's nothing here that states that, you know, this congregation, you know, is for the it's for ending police brutality or the criminal practices of locking up black people unjustly. None of this says that. And also it says that essentially, you know, it pretty much goes on to pretty much say that this church is in trouble because the people that replaced the 250 members that they lost are millennials. The people that they replaced are millennials. See, he says the church hasn't yet tracked the age of all newcomers, but typically they are younger than 60, which means that all of a sudden we became a much younger church. But what that means is that their giving is going down, because essentially they show that pretty much the younger generation is not going to church as much. They're not attending services as frequently, and they not they're not giving as much. You know, it's pretty much what it says. So essentially, the younger members that they're replacing these 250 people that left. They're not giving. See, this is what it says. It says the church budget right here took a hit, and it says this reflects a realistic projection of the financial shift going on. It reflects the giving patterns of younger congregants who aren't as likely to tithe as regularly or as much as the greatest generation or even the baby boomers. So this is the predicament that this church is in, and this pastor George Mason, this man right here, he supposedly is for ending white supremacy, but he's about to lose his church. It's about to be over for him, and so he really don't have anything to lose. I mean, it's about to be over for him. I mean, this church is about to go down. So, it's waning. So the bottom line is this man right here, he ain't got nothing to lose. So he's saying all types of stuff, talking about white supremacy. Well, my question is that you just realized white supremacy was a problem in 2018? If you're so progressive if you show against, you're so progressive, LGBT women, you're all for that, but it takes you till 2018 for y'all to figure out that, takes till 2018 for you to figure out that, we need to deal with racism and white supremacy. This doesn't click. I mean, what's going on here? Like, are these people really sincere about ending white supremacy and dealing with racism? My answer to that would be obviously not. There are a bunch of conservatives, white evangelicals, and the pastor has nothing to lose. So he's trying to say whatever he needs to say to, try to draw in members. Maybe he wants to draw in more black members. Maybe he's trying to get more black Christians to come into his church so that he could try to milk them and get them to replace the 250, 250 members, and get they given to try to offset, So essentially, it just smells. It just smells, and it's not real. It doesn't seem real sincere that it takes till 2018 for you to figure out, white supremacy is a problem. Botham Jean. We gotta stop white supremacy now. But you didn't see that, years ago. I mean, it's, it's so progressive. But anyway, we'll deal with some of this stuff later on. Some of these topics that are, coming up. But I wanted to deal with this first because we gotta understand that, these white evangelicals, they are committed to practicing and keeping the system of racism intact. And you should be suspect of anyone, especially white evangelicals, that come out and say they against white supremacy when they calling themselves white.